Please go ahead.
Good morning. The New South Wales Government have introduced new regulations which I think come in effect on Monday. Has the authority had any involvement or input in those regulations?
Andrew Reynolds, Acting Chief Executive of the Murray Darling Basin Authority. So the authority has consulted with New South Wales Government through their officials on how floodplain harvesting might be incorporated into water resource plans, but the development of the regulations is a matter that the New South Wales Government has progressed. We haven't been part of the preparation of those at all.
Have you modelled the impacts of those regulations?
The modelling of modelling of floodplain harvesting regulations and how it would operate in New South Wales is something the New South Wales Government has undertaken and has been consulting on as well.
So as a South Australian, do I know whether if these regulations remain and are not disallowed, are they going to impact water flows to South Australia?
So the modelling that the New South Wales Government has undertaken, as we understand it, show that the impact of floodplain harvesting on flows to the Murray at the end of the Darling system is very minimal. The total volume of floodplain harvesting that has been modelled is around 14% of the volume of flow from the Northern Basin to the Murray-Darling to the Murray is around 14%, and floodplain harvesting is a much smaller component of that. So any impact of floodplain harvesting will have a minimal impact. Changes to floodplain harvesting has a minimal impact to the Murray system.
Sorry, 14% of what?
Average flows to the Murray from the Northern Basin is about 14%.
So I take it from your answer that you accept the veracity of your modelling?
Well, when the water resource plans come forward that incorporate the floodplain harvesting regulations, the modelling will be provided as part of that, and MDBA will undertake an assessment of that modelling at that point in time. That hasn't been brought forward to us at this point.
So what is our anticipated timings for when the authority will be forming a view on the modelling from New South Wales?
So we're continuing to work with New South Wales on the submission of water resource plans. We actually had the first water resource plan submitted to us yesterday. That one does not include floodplain harvesting. We're anticipating that successive water resource plans will be brought forward in tranches over the next 6 months or so.
There's been various stakeholders suggesting that the regulations may allow for the floodplain harvesting to be taken out of water sharing plans entirely. Do you have a view on that?
Would understand that the floodplain harvesting regulations will be incorporated in water sharing plans and importantly from the MDBA and Basin Plan will have to be reflected in water resource plans in due course.
So which means that there will still be valley limits?
Absolutely. There will be valley limits under the Basin Plan and water resource plans. The limits are the sustainable diversion limit. That does not determine the various forms of take and put individual limits on each form of take. It's a limit at a whole of resource unit. So floodplain harvesting is a form of take that needs to be within the SDL, as does every other form of take.
Just to come back to one of my earlier questions, just on timing, when as a South Australian will I get the opportunity to have some comfort that floodplain harvesting under the new regulations won't affect my community?
So the New South Wales Government has been consulting quite widely on the floodplain harvesting regulations and their modelling, and they've made information available. When that information comes forward to the MDBA as part of water resource plan submissions, we will publish that on our website as well. We're anticipating seeing that in the next 6 months or so.
Okay, so over the next 6 months. Yeah, thank you. I noticed that the Legislative Council of the New South Wales Parliament released a report, I think, late last year. Has the authority formed a view on the recommendations in that report?
Responding to those recommendations and taking action on them is a matter for the New South Wales Government, and they have not yet responded to that inquiry. We're certainly following what New South Wales is doing with the floodplain harvesting, but we haven't necessarily formed a view on individual recommendations of that inquiry.
Are they consulting with you in the formulation of their response?
No, it's a matter for the New South Wales Government.
Chair, I might just leave it there for a moment. I might expect a call a little bit later.
Thanks very much, Senator. Yes.